Hi, this is Andy Newell with your Faster Skier Nordic Team Solutions World Championship Seefeld preview. The first race of the championships is a skate sprint for both men and women hosted on the same day. Here in Seefeld, snow has been falling at a record rate all winter long. We're at a moderate altitude here at just over 4,000 feet, so look for some super fast, intense racing. Let's take a look at the course profiles, a different course for men and women. They start exactly the same into a gradual uphill, and the women will take a sweeping left-hand corner and drop back down into the stadium. Look for some fast no-pole skiing into a more gradual uphill where they'll be jostling for position. Then a sweeping right-hander into a small downhill into some very fast finishing lanes. At just 1.1 kilometers, this is a pretty short sprint time-wise for women, so look for some aggressive skiing from start to finish. On the men's side, 1.4 kilometer sprint starts exactly the same way as the women, but where they would turn off, we have a substantial climb for the men. A lot of V1 offset technique there. They'll carry a lot more speed into the stadium, so look for more drafting opportunities as they come into the same final climb, right-hand turn, downhill, into some screaming fast lanes. Look for a lot of opportunity to do some no-pole skiing on this course. Here's a look at the women's final from last year. Sophie Caldwell and Mike and Kaspersen Falla in this race. You can see the women will start pretty aggressively. Plenty of room to pass in these first couple hundred meters. You can see the skiers here are 3 wide. It starts on a very gradual uphill and then a small little drop here where they'll carry some speed and begin climbing. The first hill for the women is actually very short, which is why you can see them kind of in a single file line already and pushing a pretty fast V2. Most skiers are able to carry a V2 all the way up this first climb. With a sweeping uphill corner, look for the athletes to stay single file and look for more passing opportunities later in the race. At this point, look for athletes to really push hard over the top of this hill and look for a drafting opportunity if you're in 3rd or 4th place. You can see Sadie there in 5th. She's in a little bit of a position where she really needs to be thinking about moving up. There isn't a ton of time to pass in the last half of this sprint. So you can see skiers here, because of this gradual right-hand turn into this final hill, Maiken and Sophie choose the inside short line, and you have folks like Sadie on the outside working really hard to try to make it around a few skiers. It can really be beneficial to be on this inside right-hand line into the right-hand corner. Athletes that are able to push really hard over the top of this hill and carry speed are going to be really successful in this sprint, and I think maybe the key is what we're going to see right here. Really fast tucks into really quick no-pole skating and into V2. Athletes need to be able to cycle through those gears as quickly and efficiently as possible, and they'll be able to carry a lot of speed to the finishing line. Next, we have a final from the men last year, World Cup Seefeld. Here you can see they start pretty quick out of the double pole lanes, but you will see a substantial difference in pace between the men and the women. The men's course is several hundred meters longer and has a much more substantial climb out of the stadium. It's kind of a more or less an uphill for the first 1 minute and 40 seconds of this race. Here you can see the athletes kind of cycle into a 2-line formation. V2 up this first section of the hill, and this is where it gets steeper. This is where the men turn off. You see Pellegrino in the front working the V1 technique. The first pitch of this hill is the steepest, and then it kind of levels out, and it's a pretty sustained V1 working hill for a long time. Here, going into the top of this corner, I think what you're going to see here, we see a little bit of cat and mouse, and this is because it's the final. I don't think you're going to see this much standing up in the quarterfinals and the semis because people will be going for lucky loser time, but here, what this tells you is that drafting is going to be hugely important on this downhill. You can see Kalle Harvison decides to take the lead. Screaming fast downhill. Look at what Klæbo does around this corner. This is what is going to be really important. See him work that skating, work that left leg. He's able to carry way more speed into this flat, propels himself from 2nd or 3rd into the 1st, and you can see the Swede that was leading into the stadium is already back and forth. Again, going for the inside line, Klæbo and Shonova here hammering up that last hill, carrying a ton of speed around that right-hand corner, and not much passing opportunity. This finish is so fast. You might see somebody pick off one skier, but it's not going to be a lot of passing. Super fast, no-pole skiing, very quickly coming up into a V2, and that's just going to be a really fast finish. Look for some really close lunges and exciting finishes.